figured I don't know if this light, where to put this light.
You
I
mean,
thought you were on fire.
Yeah, it looked like you. It looked like I don't know what it fucking looked like. It looked like you had a light bulb in your lap. Is what it looked
Hey,
like.
that.
That's better. Subtle. I like your candles.
Yeah, I redid this area.
I see we're in Studio C with Erickson.
Oh yeah,
Damn it.
it looks like it got painted in there.
I think it might just be the low light.
Oh,
God damn it.
Andy, what?
this better be good because I was taking a fucking nap.
Well,
no.
and the best part is that this was all Andy's idea, so he's clearly prepared for it.
Well, I got the space set up. I just don't know what the light looks like without you people here. And I don't mean that racially. You white liberals, Chad Shank voter getting shit done out there.
Andy, if you do an audio video settings, you can get the camera to show you exactly what your camera shot looks like.
Just 5 minutes before this, I learned how to turn it off. So
And yet it's on.
So, yeah, no, I know because it's like I turned it off and then I turned it back on.
Oh, you did the reboot we were talking about last time.
It wasn't on the bottom. It was up top or some shit. That was I thought, maybe we could just, we're all, I was happy celebrating in the moment. And then that's before they even said there's a possible, we can possibly get a vaccine eventually. So fuck yeah, man. It's good times, man. It's time to dive in.
You knew that was coming once Trump lost, right? Then we could just roll out the saline water vaccine and
the Tic Tacs
It's funny that some conservatives actually die of it because it's all a hoax, and it's just like it's a placebo. It's like the liberals. They just go in like the Columbine shooting. They just go in one door and out the other. It's like, oh, my aunt died. Oh, really? Where's her body? Well, I don't know. They moved it. She's gone. Oh, have you met my other aunt? It's her twin sister or whatever. It's hilarious that they're buying it. Not Kenneth Copeland, though. That guy, he's still laughing in the face of these liberal lies.
Is this going to be all politics? Is that why Chad got snapped out of a nap?
Hey, I'll tell you what. After I voted, I feel like I put $5 on the game. I've been watching every news channel there is. I'm ready to go toe to toe with you guys on politics.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
Booty gig.
Booty gig. All you needed was a bookie, man.
I just needed a little fucking salt in the game.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, cheers. It's been a big celebration in West Hollywood. I can tell you that. I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but
I saw the thing that Mitchell posted in West Hollywood, and it was people celebrating as she panned from one side of the street to the other. I'm like, wait a minute. On one side is the happy people. The other side, that's the Trump. Where are they? It's usually you see one side against the other. And it wasn't.
There was
waving flags.
Yeah, it was all. That's West Hollywood, but it was funny because a little bit, another half a mile, and you're in Beverly Hills, and in front of the big Beverly Hills sign on Santa Monica Boulevard is where they'd been having some pretty big Trump rallies, just impromptu, and these are people who for sure were not living in Beverly Hills. No. But they're coming in from, Orange County or up in Lancaster or somewhere, and just maybe from the valley. But it was all like, giant pickup trucks with dualies and the big Trump flags waving, and they're just doing like maximum overdrive fucking hot laps around everybody, trying to scare everybody. It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
You're trying to go back in time, or what the fuck's the plan?
I don't know what
Let's hold
was
a boat
on,
rally. I don't know what to do.
When it's all over, what are they going to do? Ban dancing in their towns? That's going to backfire on you, don't you?
Yeah. You got to ban dancing because that leads to liberalism.
Yeah, you notice how the liberals were all dancing, and I don't remember when Trump won anyone dancing effectively.
No, it was Trump.
Yeah,
Trump was
there's a lot of
dancing.
stiff dancing and a lot of fuck you, liberal cunts or whatever. But I don't remember impromptu dancing when that guy won.
I noticed the social distancing went right out the window whenever they wanted to celebrate there. That was
there was some problems there. I was like, as Mitchell and I were driving through it, we were commenting on that, Chad, because I was like, there is going to be some people who die because they got COVID at the Trump lost celebration. There will be. There has to be. Statistically, there have. And that's a shitty, ironic way to go out.
I like making fun of the extreme on both sides, of course. So I thought it was funny that all those people were talking shit about Sturgis and then went and did the same thing. So, morons.
Short memories, man.
All over, yeah.
Part of the, I was reading up on Sturgis. Part of the difference with Sturgis is that it included people from so many different areas, and that the issue it was that they're all coming together to give each other COVID and then going back to their homes,
dispersing
wherever they are in the United States. Yeah, everybody in West Hollywood is from West Hollywood, probably, or pretty damn close. So, I mean, not that it's any less stupid.
Some of them still have their AIDS immunity.
I think the one I saw was in Washington, D.C. was the one that I saw. Like, the streets were just fucking full of people.
That's where I'd have trouble. That would be, I would go out to that one. That would be a lot of fun.
I did read an article after the whole Sturgis thing blew over and it was out of the news cycle and everything. It isn't reported because that wasn't the thing that everyone was looking at. But the people in Sturgis were trying to practice social distancing. They're bracing for this fucking hellacious fucking thing that happens every year. They're used to having to be inconvenienced. And the people in the cafes and the restaurants and in the bars, they were trying. I mean, as a community, they were like, this is what we have to do. It's everyone else who came in and made it uncomfortable.
Well, and then those people don't even believe, it's a hoax. So they're not even trying to comply with the fucking social distancing. So, what a nightmare.
I think Sturgis got a bad rap on that. It wasn't the city. They were scared, and they also know that this is where they make their money. That weekend,
they should compile a bunch of stories of those people who are like, I ain't wearing a mask, and the ones who are just in your face, and then that died of COVID. Like they could make a chicken soup for science people, or this will make you feel better. You frontliners, read this. Hey, I ain't wearing a mask for nobody. I'm gonna lick that pole, the toilet liquor. That would be one of them. He was. I don't know. Did he die? Yeah, the toilet liquor died.
I don't know. There was that one. There was a guy from Ohio, I think in like June or July. Do you remember this story? What was it? He was on. It was like a whole Facebook thing. It was a bunch of stuff of him posting on Facebook about how it was a hoax and how it was bullshit and the masks were fucking stupid and it was just all, trying to control you. And then the next post was, looks like I tested positive for COVID. Feel okay. And then the next one is, I'm going into the hospital. And then the last one was the obituary notice posted, and it was like, holy shit. And my first thought was this is fake, but it ended up being a thing. Like those people are out there, man, or were out there.
Yeah,
I'm glad we survived our event.
Well, with all the precautions that we took, I'm not surprised. I mean, we did a lot of extra quarantining and precautionary measures. I wouldn't want to have to go into them all to bore everybody, but man. It was a
lot like what happened before they touched E.T. When he saw when he died and they were all wrapped up. That's kind of how we partied. I kept worrying I
Yeah.
was going to burn my suit, my oxygen suit or whatever.
Burn a hole in.
Yeah.
Is that
Who's
the
that?
guy, Shaylee?
That's the guy. Yeah,
Yeah, that's him. I recognize him.
he
That's the-
37-year-old man slamming
Cheers.
hype over the pandemic on Facebook. Richard Rick Rose from Port
Yeah.
Clinton.
Yep.
Cool
It
coffee
is.
mug or something. Hey, man. I'll never forget you, dude. You're the one who got me to wear a mask. It was your story. Up until that point, I thought it was just bullshit. But I was,
I mean, it does become a cautionary tale. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you want to get something out of his death.
yeah, running with the bulls. He got gored in the asshole and he got infected and he died. It happens.
It has been just to kind of switch gears a little bit. I know that Andy, when you called me and you're like, "Hey, we should jump on." I can't wait till Wednesday. It was the chef's kiss of the end of the Trump era when they had their press conference in Philadelphia to announce their voter fraud commission or whatever the fuck it was. And they
In the alley?
they accidentally booked the Four Seasons total landscaping instead of the Four Seasons hotel. And then there's nothing they could do about it. And then even better, they pretended they meant to do that, which was just the lamest bullshit. Like, come on, dude, at least own that you fucked up.
I
Yeah,
saw
but
that even the Four Seasons in Philadelphia had tweeted, "It's not here. It's over there."
Did
I don't get it. What happened?
Do you not know about this, Shaylee?
No,
God,
no.
I envy your ability to
No,
stay
this was
out of
actually
the-
this was a really entertaining one though. It was like kind
Yeah,
of a
this was good.
payoff to a lot of bad jokes. It didn't work, and this one is like, okay, I get it. These guys are fucking fun.
to see Rudy Giuliani there after just being punked by Borat. It's got to be like he had to feel like it was happening to him again.
Yeah.
Like or maybe he just does it to himself because
Well, tell Shaylee
if
what
you
the fuck happened.
if you hadn't seen it, so Giuliani and a couple of Trump's other spokesmen were holding a press conference on Friday to announce all their lawsuits they were going to file and the voter fraud that was happening. And they announced that it was going to be at the Four Seasons. And then the Four Seasons Hotel put out a thing that said, "It's not here. You didn't book this place." And then they're like, "What? Huh?" And then they realized they had booked a place called Four Seasons Total Landscaping. And they had it in the parking lot of the Four Seasons Landscaping.
It was
Next
by
to
an
a
adult bookstore and a
There it is.
crematorium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wedge. It was one of those wedge between a crematorium and a fucking dildo shop or an adult store, and then that was the whole backdrop there. And then they had a witness. Did you hear about the witness they had? They had a witness who came forward who saw witness this shit at the polls, and it turns out he's a fraud. He's a pedophile from New Jersey who's run for office out of spite for years for this. He's like, he was the witness. He was like, "Hold the presses. Here he comes. Here he comes." He's like,
Well, I mean, you start tossing the fucking bait into the water like they are. You're gonna find the crazies who are like, "Yeah, I saw it. I saw it all."
They certainly don't fact check or research anything. I mean, they had some intern put down a deposit to fucking do a press conference in front of a landscaping company.
Oh God, yeah, it's
Here's
beautiful.
what I hope happens is there's no holding the politicians accountable because we know that they're fucking crooked. We've been over that. But maybe if we could hold the media accountable, like, can we all laugh about this stuff on Twitter, but then it doesn't become national news? Like, let us make fun of that stuff. The news needs to fucking up their
The
game.
important
and start
stuff
being
for the
more
nightly news.
adult like.
Yeah.
Listen to the voters. Listen to him. He's a voter.
That's right. Guy gets a little bit of franchisement and listen to him go. Now he's got solutions.
I like it.
Fucking love it, dude. Chad's gonna be running for fucking Hereford City Council before long.
You kind of hope that some, like, before Trump leaves, there's some kind of press conference that happens in Eugene so that Andy can be the fake guy who goes, "I witnessed."
Yeah.
That's right in Andy's wheelhouse.
Yeah, they don't. Nobody
What?
paying attention
could
We
be
here.
have a
fake sign
security
language
guard here
guy.
from the Eugene Museum. Or, yeah, Andy can do that. The ASL on the
Yeah.
side.
Oh, I almost remember, and I was working with Stanhope in Atlanta, and a guy who had a court situation, and it went sideways, and he shot people at the courthouse and went missing. He was a black guy, and he was on the run in Atlanta, and me and Doug were working the club, and so we had some fun with that. The guy was out for a couple days. Remember him? This was he shot up the courthouse, and he was out in the suburbs. But everybody was looking for him, and I was driving around with somebody, and I saw a bunch of camera crews, and I got out, and I was dressed. Well, I was out. I wasn't jogging, but I was dressed like a jogger, which is often handy, and so I started jogging up the street, and they go, "You can't go up there." And then I stood there, and then I acted. I mean, obviously some shit went down up that street, and then a CNN lady. She sees me and she comes over across the street. Everybody else is sleeping. Everybody else is staying over there, but she's smart and she sees me, and I'm putting on a half act like, what the fuck, I don't know what to do, and then I start worrying, and I'm an actor, so I was acting. She comes up and she goes, "Did you know him?" Real quick and subtle. She goes, "Did you know him?" And I was like, oh man, I wanted to say, yeah, I think so, man.
I know him.
I could have been on CNN right in seconds. Like, well, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't even live in this neighborhood. Punk you, motherfucker. But
You'd have been funny if you'd have been like, yeah, it was so terrible. I don't know if I'm even gonna be able to make it to the Doug Stanhope and Andy Andrews show tonight at 8:00. Doors are
Still available as far as I was good. I found out.
8 and 10. 8 and 10. Come out.
There's a 2-drink minimum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
It's funny because they've got all these claims of voter fraud. It's like the election's being stolen. It's voter fraud. It's voter fraud. And then also, by the way, if you have any tips about voter fraud, please call our voter fraud hotline. It's like, I thought you had evidence of voter fraud, but now you're just throwing it out there to fucking. It's
gonna be one of those late night
call.
commercials for mesothelioma, whatever. Mesothelioma. You know what?
I knew
Ray
it was
Roundup.
bad whenever I've been flipping to different newses to see what was going on. I quit now, but and I knew it was done when I flipped to Fox News, and they were like, "There's unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud." We go to the Republican senator from the state, and he's like, "There's no voter fraud here," and I was like, "Oh, it's done."
What sucks about those guys is basically Trump's going to go. They know that, but they're just trying to get his fan base. It's like, wow, what a fucking shitty crowd to try to recruit. It's like the fucking. So it's like trying to pick up a chick on like a Dewey cord or something. Scraping the real bottom of the
low hanging fruit.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they obviously have time on their hands to assemble. They can at least, most of them can spell.
Yeah.
There
was a hottie in my one of my Dewey classes. Towards the end, I was getting ready to walk down there, get my diploma or whatever, and then this hottie with all kinds of drama showed up. I was like, I should just piss dirty once. Get back in here. I mean, it's like it's like therapy. You get to sit there and hear them tell you every weakness they have. Everything they fallen for, and then
she's gonna need a ride.
Right? Yeah. Hey, they call it a blow and go, but they don't tell you who has to do what. I'll give you a ride. No, I'm just kidding.
Find out what she likes. Like she's a bourbon or vodka. I mean, you'll be ready.
She was a meth.
Oh yeah, well,
she was one of them meth
man. All bets are off.
Yeah, hot meth. That's what she was. She was still in that. Still had her human teeth. You get your baby teeth and your adult teeth, and then you can keep. But then your meth teeth. That's it. When you grind them down, they don't grow back.
Oh God, I'm not gonna do this to you guys. I just looked up.
No, don't do teeth.
I just realized it's making me sick.
Especially since I just Carrie Mitchell had periodontal surgery today.
Ooh,
so
wow.
I
There
got
was
to hold her hand through the whole thing and stare into
Really?
her mouth as a surgeon sliced it open and
Really?
did all
Wow.
kinds of crazy shit. It
Went
was
in with
crazy.
her for that?
Yeah, she has anxiety, so they were
Wow.
she was freaking out. But it was funny because like about 2/3 of the way through, they had the graft done. They just had to stitch her back up, and like the surgeon stepped out for a minute and changed his gloves or something. I don't know. And Mitchell is like, she was freaked out because she only had local anesthetic. They didn't knock her out. She thought she was getting knocked out.
And you're in
They
there for
didn't.
support.
You
You
They
hold her
could have.
hand.
You didn't bring any Coke?
They could have knocked
Here,
her
man,
out,
here, man.
but it like to do it full anesthesia is like another $2,000, and
Yeah.
we're like, no, you're gonna bite down on this.
If anything will make you brush, it's going through that surgery.
Yeah,
So would they frown on you
absolutely.
giving her a little cocaine, like a brush or gummed with cocaine? Just go, we're taking care of this for $100.
Come in pre-numb.
Yeah.
But she was like, at the break, she was like, oh man, I can't believe they let you stay in here. And I just looked at her and I was like, oh, I can. Like, somebody would have needed to do the job I was doing. So the fact that I was able to be there doing it helped, you know. So she got a deep cleaning in there. She had to have one of the nurses in there hold her shoulders down while she was getting her teeth.
Like you're cutting off someone's arm in the Civil War.
Wow.
Yeah, it's adorable. She gets nervous. She doesn't like fucking with her teeth.
I had to hold my own ball sack up while they cut my taint open, man. That's
See,
hey, can I get a hand?
I guess Jenny doesn't care about you much.
After they did that, I was holding on to I had my shirt like over my balls and stuff, so they didn't have to be hanging down there where the doctor was working. But I had a hold of my ball sack, and when he cut me open, the first thing I said was, "I really wish I wasn't holding on to my ball sack because I squeezed the shit out of it when you did that."
I feel like one of those stress things.
Yeah,
the eyes bulge.
Like,
yeah.
Throw a cape
Now
over
I
my
need
ass.
another surgery.
Yeah.
Man, I hope that doesn't haunt you again. But at least it'd have an easy entry to your taint. It's like undo the zipper.
I don't know if it's more scary now knowing what they're gonna do or just not knowing what the fuck was gonna happen.
I remember I had a surgery as a kid with a needle in my foot. I probably told you that how I got a needle.
I remember jumped on it.
Lost a needle in the carpet and then didn't find it and just let it.
Me and my brother played Star Trek, and one thing led to another, and I got a needle jammed in my foot. And but I remember being all brave about it because it hurt really bad, and I was just like, I was glad when I saw the X-ray because I was like, now I didn't think motherfuckers, but my parents will believe me now. It hurt, it hurt, and there was part of the needle missing. Both of those things are clues. And then I was pretty brave about it. I was like, man, and I was like, and then they gave me the procedure, and I started bawling like I was like, all right, we got this. And then they go, well, what we'll do is we'll give you a shot.
Another needle in the foot?
Well, they give you, but they give
we broke it off.
They give you a needle in the arm, put you down, and then they cut open your foot, and both of those things. I just didn't want to hear about it. It's like, if they just said, we're going to give you some candy and you'll be sleepy and then you'll wake up and your foot's going to be a little sore. I could have, I was like, I don't need the whole, that's your gig, man.
Yeah,
your work.
An adult tells you.
Yeah, it does. It's like, I guess I don't know why they felt like I needed to be on the loop.
Andy immediately starts taking his pants off when he gets into the doctor. Like, no. We're just doing your foot, son. We're just doing your foot.
I think you misunderstand. You just take
you'll wake up from surgery, and there you'll feel a slight tugging on your penis. That's just the adult who put you under, waking you up, Tim. That's just a dream state. Go back to sleep and go forget about the 80s. They're not for you, dude.
They're trying to give Andy a sticker from the treasure box at the end of the appointment. He's like, I get tracksuits, motherfucker. I don't want a sticker.
Yeah.
Where's my car?
Fuck that.
Temporary tattoo. Bullshit. I can get lifetime problems.
Treasure box.
Yeah.
I love them treasure boxes. I don't know. I mean, I don't think good at came out of a treasure box, but they are exciting.
Yeah. When you went to go get the needle taken out of your foot, is it like some of your other medical experiences where you had to like take yourself down there and talk to adults, or did one of your parents take you?
No, I guess I went in with my mom, and it was Earl Rosenagel's wife, Daisy. Daisy Rosenagel was the nurse up in Coquille. So I knew the nurse, and that didn't make me feel any better. I was like kind of afraid of her humpback husband, Earl. He was like he could have set the clock up there in Notre Dame, if you know what I mean.
Earl had a hunchback.
He had a hunchback. He was like,
I remember hearing about this guy.
Yeah, him and Sniffer Ridlin together at a church picnic was just almost too much to look at. Oh, here comes Hoot Looney. Hoot Looney's joining in, and I don't know who the foursome is for horseshoes, but I saw Sniffer Ridlin, Earl Rosenagel, the hunchback, and Hoot Looney playing horseshoes together.
Well, I know the story of Quasimodo, and that's the only guy I wouldn't want to arm wrestle.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Quasimodo was strong. So I think Earl Rosenagel.
I think Earl's strength back in the day was putting lacquer finish on pieces of myrtle wood that you can put a clock on them, and he would lacquer them.
All right.
A guy. Just because you have a hunchback, don't mean you can't be a hobbyist.
It reminds me of my favorite. We're old enough to remember SCTV. Remember SCTV with Eugene Levy and John Candy, and when they did Monster Chiller Horror Theater with Count Floyd, and he says, "Oh, we got a scary one for you today." Oh,
scary.
They did. The movie they showed was like it was always a 3D, like it was the 3D House of Beef. And they would do the 3-dimension thing by like, would you like a cup of coffee?
Whoa.
Like that was the gag. And then, but the whole thing was about how they were going to have, Count Floyd was going to interview, there he is, was going to interview one of the actors from the movie. And it was Eugene Levy's character, and Eugene Levy played the Igor character, and he was a big hunchback. And then, so after they show the scene from the movie, they cut to Count Floyd, and he's sitting there, and it's like a Tom Snyder 70s kind of lounge chair kind of set, and they're both wearing like turtlenecks, and they're having coffee, and they're chatting, and he's got, Eugene Levy's got his legs crossed, and he's just comfortable, but he's still got the fucking hump. The hump is there, like the hump is real. But they never acknowledge that. Like, it was so fucking perfect. God damn it. I'm gonna have to go find that.
Hey,
throw that up at the end on Patreon.
I just realized how Earl was. He was a hunchback, and his hobby was making clocks. So there you go. He was just like Quasimodo. He didn't have a bell tower. He had a nice old piece of myrtle wood and a workshop. He was the first guy I was ever around who wore suspenders all the time. But I get it, he had a humpback, it's hard to keep your pants up, and then how do you, so I think suspenders just even the odds.
How did they
suspenders would be better? Work.
Well, you can adjust
his pants would be all hiked up his ass in the back.
But you can adjust them separately.
Well, true.
So you can hunt, he's got one all humpback setting and the other one, so that's how his pants knew what to do. Otherwise, they'd have been confused and just fallen, like, what the fuck is going on here, man? Earl ain't fit. He ain't, he ain't solid.
Depending on where that hunchback is, it might be harder to wear the suspenders, Andy.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, it was one that, went feed in the back. I sat behind him at church. I was really,
God.
I was very inattentive, and that's what I do the floor swimming, And but I would stare at her, I'd stare at things like that humpback and think about it for weeks, just go, what
I'd
the
want to go to
hell? And
church just for that.
yeah, and then I would floor swim, and that's probably I didn't know that that's how you get people sexually aroused. Is when you're a kid and you're squirmy. I would. That's what my dad called it.
Oh,
I would floor swim. I had to have told you about floor swimming. And so you would just, me and my brother, or we just get so inattentive at church, we just hit the floor and then just like military, crawling through people. But
belly
there's this one guy who would roughhouse us. And that's probably, it's like when you got an older gentleman grabbing a child under the pew and giving him a headlock, it's probably not a good church to be a part of. That doesn't get shut down immediately, and it just went on. So I was getting used to being rubbed around and roughhoused by strange adults for no purpose. So yeah, I guess I was one of them kids who was kind of at risk for being molested.
So you're misbehaving at church, and you and your brother would hit the dirt and belly crawl under the pews,
under people,
and then and then somewhere from there to whenever you got stopped, someone wrenched down and grabbed you and put you in a headlock.
I forget who that guy was. My dad had a name for him too, but he would grab us in roughhouses. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember anything, real sexual happening there. But and then like me and my brother were crawling under like women too. I mean, it was an older congregation, but and we're both like creepy from looking at David and Larry's porn books. So I don't know about I don't know what my brother's motivation. Mine was I was just up for adventure. And I hated sitting in a church. I hated sitting in a pew, and then people look at you and you're not singing. And my mom would go, "Cunt," and like try to encourage me to sing. And I wanted to. Now it's like I would tell her, "You shouldn't even be singing. Your voice is awful." And you sing. She sing refrains. It's like, bitch, don't sing refrains. You ain't even good in the chorus.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense when I watch it.
And sometimes there was like the chorus would sing, and then there'd be these other drop-ins where certain people who were better singers might, do
sing a little lead part or something.
Yeah, and
they
would hit something that was in the hymnal but wasn't necessarily meant to be sung, and so she'd do that all the time. And I was like, holy shit, I don't know if she was deaf or what, but she couldn't even fucking come. And it wasn't like our church was a rhythm section, it was all over the place. That was the best. Oh, that was the best thing. Is Roy Hutchinson, the preacher who choked me, and his wife Cleone were like, I think maybe inspired by Johnny Cash and June, but they would do husband and wife duets at church sometimes.
Oh, nice.
Service. And he was a gravelly voice. And he could barely even carry a tune at all, and she was high pitched like Edith Bunker. So I don't know if anybody ever.
Oh my God!
If they did, it was fucking a classic. Even though the guy choked me, I still would sit and listen to his songs and know something wasn't going on correct. And I think I would have, if only there were more strong guys and less hunchbacks in the Church of God, maybe they could have carried my dad up that flight of stairs, so my dad could have made fun of those. They would do a Bible study at my house, and my dad would sit back and make fun of people.
A very Christian attitude towards Bible study.
He would sit all the way in the back of the room, and then he'd have his arms crossed, and then he would talk. And then usually he was just basically like, not heckling his mom, but his mom would interrupt the services. Grandma May would go off. She was always off subject, and they didn't like to ask her questions. And they're like, and she would go, "Oh, I was reading in the Bible," and so she would steal it by that. It's like she's reading in the Bible. Well, they're talking about a specific Bible verse, and then my grandma would talk about something like they said that they were eating their defecation, and they're like some obscure something about eating shit or something that but my grandma wasn't doing it to heckle. She had a genuine question, and then my dad would go, "Oh boy, better go watch Little House on the Prairie," and some stupid, now I realize it was sort of funny. you know.
Oh my
My dad,
God.
yeah, my dad was funny, but there was no podcasting back then.
Right.
It was
Yeah,
just
the man ahead of his time.
it's an asshole, but funny.
That
You
that
know?
was a great moment from the dental surgery today when Mitchell was her second Xanax had kicked in and she was all numbed up and she's still trying to talk to everybody even though her mouth doesn't work.
Nervous talking.
And yeah, and she's saying something. I'm like, babe, just relax, just take it easy. And she's like, ha ha ha, and we're like, what? And they finally took all the shit out of her mouth, and she kept saying, ha 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 ha, and I'm like, save it for the podcast. And she's like, yeah, save it for the
You're telling her that just made me have a wonderful and horrible thought. I'll bet that's how Bill Cosby came up with Mushmouth. He was getting all that network money and experimenting, and there's probably a lady who's like, "Can you take me home?" He's like, "Ha ha, ha. Let me write some of this in my notebook." Mushmouth. She's
I
drugged.
love you, Andy. This is why you're glad. This is why you need to be glad that you have us around, Andy Andrus, because you've actually written that bit before.
Have I? Man.
Yeah. I wrote it down for you a couple of, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago about how all the characters in the Junkyard Gang are just
right, yeah.
Cosby victims at various levels of Quaalude. Yeah.
I rack a discipline. I just rack discipline.
The only problem now is we just need to go through 92 episodes plus 30 or so Patreons.
Or get one autistic. Listen to all of it and then just start spouting it off. It'll be beautiful, like a water fountain of what I used to think a minute ago. I don't know what halfway. These rope lights I strung around, and then I put plastic to keep the weather out a little bit on this lower deck, and then and everything was going really good, and then them lights went out about halfway through, and I don't know what happened. I've been trying to figure it out, but everything I got my sign up. I got this fucking mirror that I've had for months out here waiting for somebody knows how to read directions to put it up. And then I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to read these directions. And then I looked at the pictures and then I thought, fuck it, I can't read these directions. I'll just wing it. And I made it work.
And I'm on a roll. Directions is the same as just...
My patient is stirring, so you guys carry on for a minute. I'll be back.
Yeah.
If he gives her a third Xanax, we'll have to delete part of this if something bad happens.
I had a girlfriend at one time that was, she was deathly, she was afraid of a lot of things. And I think it was because she had some trauma when she was young. And I finally was like, look, man, you got to go to the dentist. And she was just deathly afraid of the dentist. I mean, she was ex-military too. And it's like, you had to be poked and prodded there. You're a chick. You've been poked and prodded a lot.
And they make you go to the dentist a lot in the military.
So I don't know what she's kind of hot too. So I think she got away with a lot of shit. So I go, look, if you go to the dentist, just go to the dentist and we'll get a cat, because I was not a cat person, right? So we go to the dentist and the dentist comes out and goes, hey, I need you in there too. So I go in there. I'm the moral support, like what Erickson's talking about. I was the guy holding the shoulders down. I was the guy that was like, and she kept like squirming out and doing this thing. And then finally the guy just takes his mask off and goes, basically, beat it. Get out of here. This is not going to work. This isn't going to happen. He goes, I can't do this. Whatever's happening here is bigger than what I can fix in her mouth, kind of thing. And he basically kicked us out. And, and I mean, he was nice and everything, but it was a thing where that's when I was like, man, you got some fucking shit in your background. I mean, you had some weird uncles or some weird shit, because this isn't adult is you realize it and then you go in there, and this was next level shit, man. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess dentistry isn't as bad as but just needles have always been a fucking freak out for me well, I mean, shit, episode 12 where when I went out and volunteered to get a shot and they put me down with one of them fucking guns where they put those 3 or 4 inoculations in you at once that they were doing.
Yeah.
And so that, that was my introduction to, oh, you're going to go get a shot. And then it's like, bam, and you're down, fucking 3 or 4 of them at once, I think. What were they doing with those?
I don't know what, I never know what
it
that
was
is,
like
I know the
I remember
mark on
seeing the
people's
thing.
shoulder.
Yeah. I remember the fucking thing. And then, that was like I put my hand up, said, yeah, I'll go down there. And then I come back and bawling and carrying on, and set the fucking everybody went grim faced after that. But that's my fallback. Anytime I go get a shot, it just starts. I need somebody to come in with me, but I'm a big pussy on it. It's like, I start whimpering and shit, like that kind of noise.
Well, Andy, I mean, like I said, I've never seen one of these. This looks like something from an Ed Wood movie.
Yeah.
Like Plan 9 from Outer Space. It looks like something that they made up by soldering a bunch of pieces together.
Must have been 1970. I got that thing bashed into my arm. And then I went back a grade. That's how fucking well I took to the shot.
You got autism right away.
Well, I was in first grade at the time of the shot, and then I went back to kindergarten shortly thereafter, because I was also getting my ass kicked quite a bit by a dude. But I went back to kindergarten and started again. But I didn't have to do the shot when I got back. I remember that being a thing, and I got to sit in a special area. I didn't go down for that again. I'd have been pretty stupid to get it a second time.
I'm looking online here. It looks like they use it a lot in like third world countries. I wonder if it's because you don't pierce the skin, that it must do something like that where it's able to inoculate you so they can keep doing more and more people without wasting resources.
Yeah. When I was in the Army, they did one, and it was injected in with like pressurized air. I think
there's
that's
a
how
CO2
they work.
cartridge that goes in the lower handle there.
Yeah.
How far?
That's because they would tell you if you jerked when they did it, it would slice you instead of going straight in. I saw that happen to a couple of guys.
Yeah. I remember walking down there. It's like it's a weird, vivid memory. I walking up that hallway where we'd go get in lunch line. And that was there, and then there was an adult who just like manhandled you when you sat in a chair, and then an adult put his hand gently on your shoulder, and then the next thing you know, he's shoving down and then holding you in a tight grip lower, and then they bashed you with that gun. Like shit, man. And then I had to go back to class.
I like your stories, but I mean, my heart bleeds a little every time. Like just imagining the shit you went through, like time after time, like every step of the way, there was someone who was like trying to fucking lay his hands on you. It just, I'm sorry you had to go through that, man.
And then I remember, this was in grade that I missed an inoculation day, and I had to go down to the nurse's office, and it was just a solo effort. And they didn't get me. I fought and scrambled. It's like there's an episode of South Park where Cartman gets all greased up like a pig.
Yeah.
Try to give him a shot. And I basically did that without being greased up and shirtless. But I fought and flung my way out of multiple
give up
times. Yeah. I remember not getting shots and them just letting me go about my business. I was an anti-vaxxer before it was even a thing because it just hurt and I didn't like the process.
Yeah,
that's how it was introduced, Maybe if they'd introduced me with just one needle at a time instead, they hit me with like 5 of them. Yeah, and we're in a pandemic now. How the fuck did we get in a pandemic when they used to jam children with 5 inoculations at a time? Yeah, he greased himself up. That was the secret. That was just kind of one of them episodes where it's just like it's really funny, but it's didn't tie into the season. I think
we had grandkids whenever I first watched that episode, and we had to take them for shots, and they had never gotten shots, and they should have gotten shots, And we had to take them in, and they fucking freaked out just like that. And I fucking laughed my ass off when I watched that episode. I had to show Jenny.
Yeah. And then what they do, they had
it's-
like an animal, a pig, a guy with an animal show, like a spoof of a pig guy or something. Like I've seen a bunch of those. I haven't really caught on to one lately, but I did for a while enjoy that subculture of shows where it was a redneck wrestling some sort of a reptile or you know,
Oh man,
like a crocodile wrestler or guy, you know, an animal exterminator guy.
Oh,
Just,
okay, yeah.
You know, missed teeth and full of bravado kind of shit. I think Tiger Man kind of snapped me away from that.
I know the guy you're talking about is the guy that he dressed kind of like he was a roadie for fucking Poison back in the day.
Yeah. You know what I think killed it was Trumpism. Because, like, last thing now I want to hear on my time away from politics is some fucking guy, he's a dumbass, talking about how he's getting a critter. Because it's the same stupid shit, you know? Same kind of fucking intelligence going on there, I guess. I don't know. That's why I just had enough of fucking dumb shit for a while.
So
Wait,
what
you
are you watching now?
Jesus Christ.
Just really the only thing I'm watching on the regular is Fargo.
No, it's all right.
Fargo.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, with Chris Rock. That's as soon as an episode drops, I watch it. But other than that, nothing really. It's all background noise. I haven't tuned in. I can't get through a movie. I tried to watch that Keanu Reeves movie where he's like got two chicks that knock on his door and it's and I can't get through that. It's like, you know, I'm fast bumping. It's like, you know, I know cool shit's gonna happen on here, but you know, him playing with the kids and stuff. I don't know.
It looks stupid. I'm afraid I'm gonna get a boner watching it with my wife, though.
But Chad, you probably need to do that after your procedure.
Yeah.
I've tried everything. Trust me, it's getting the full gambit of
watch that one with
whatever relieves it.
Watch that one with Denise Richards and Nev Campbell and
Wild Orchid.
Wild Things Wild Things.
Wild Things.
If you can get through Wild Things, you should be all right for most anything that isn't violent. Chad, that's what you throw on a fucking violent movie is when Chad gets horny.
What, you don't get different kinds of boners?
No, I just go with, I'm going back to nature and going with, if I wake up with one, then that's the one I should pursue. I don't know.
What's the new Keanu movie? Because
it isn't new. It's like 99.
It's new on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking at 2020. He had SpongeBob movie, and then Bill and Ted Face the Music, and then 2021 he's got Matrix 4, which is still filming.
Oh wow!
So it's 99.
This is one that he made a while back, where like two young girls knock on his door and they're soaking wet in the rain, and they're lost and need to use the phone, and then he fucks around with them or something, and then they
I know where it's going.
Yeah,
but I can't. It's like that's, books, anything. I mean, song. I can get through song. And that's about it. That's where my attention.
Did you finish Running the Light yet?
Yeah, I did finish that. Yeah.
Oh,
and then
nice.
It made me, because I couldn't believe that's how it. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I should talk about the ending.
No, don't say the ending.
Yeah,
no.
Only that it made me think about a time where I got in Klamath Falls, and I was doing a lot of drugs, and I got in a fucking collision with a Freightliner truck coming home the next day.
Oh yeah, you told me.
Yeah, you're following it. Yeah,
it's a bit of a, and that would have been the perfect time for me to check out. I was like riding an arc. I just did Klamath Falls.
you're on top of the world.
I was opening for Tree.
Can't get better than this.
I did. I opened for Tree in Klamath Falls, partied, and I almost had a threesome if me and this lady would have picked up another chick and her husband.
Wait,
we've all been that close.
Sorry, I'm just jumping back in here. But
and her husband was cool.
You would have had a three-way if you would have had two other girls.
And her husband was cool. But he was cool up until the point when I knocked over a stack of awkward books. It was like, and then it was like, yeah, party's over. And then that was the next day. I was lost control of my car and slammed into a truck. And it was like, fuck, everything was going so good. Could have died right then.
That was
Daughter with baby.
that period
We had to go through any diapering.
That was good, Andy. Working Klamath Falls and like
almost
kicked
having
out
a
of some
threesome.
lady's house.
Yeah. Well,
You're
out
going
on
so
top.
That was a club that was like, it was a one-nighter and then it was not a one-nighter. So it was it was a one-nighter because you went there and then it was over. But they still kept headshots up there, and I signed my headshot. Thanks for making me your first, because I was the first comic who did that room. And then I almost died, and then I went back years later and captured that photo and got because I had heard that they still had the headshots up there, and I didn't remember what I wrote on it, but that's what I wrote, and I got rid of it. It's like that's like I should have died, and that would have been people could have mocked that, like. But then that would have been not many people. What would have sucked is like to have a headshot and then die after doing that show, and then have that show just die independently, not because of that. It just that photo it just hung up in this bar up in this area. It's like there was me and Tree. And then a couple of country western people who maybe did a gig there, and then a local radio personality, and they just left them up there. Yeah, I pried it off of the wall. It's like I was in there and it was empty, and then I ordered a drink, and then the lady went back to go get something, and I pried it off the wall and got my drink and walked away with it. I should have kept it, but I thought it was a bad omen because I almost died. That's what I wrote. Thanks for picking me your first and almost last, because I like to party a little bit and I got a taste for that white stuff. It's a gateway to good times, drug.
Erickson, how's the patient?
She's all right. She woke up from her nap, so she had to have her first painkiller, but she also wanted to read up all about it so she would know what she was getting, because she was like, oh yeah, I know this is good stuff. All right, good, I feel better now. So she doesn't want this guy trying to slip in any fucking aspirin on her, like she wants to see the word narcotic written out on the paper.
Banned in several countries.
Good. Yeah.
Too hot for prime time.
This is what killed Michael Jackson.
This is the Rush Limbaugh recreational pill. Oh, cool. That's a big dude.
She's good.
Speaking of patients, I saw John Mink is in rehab.
No.
15 days sober.
Yeah. He's out of rehab.
He's in rehab. He's in the middle of it, I think. But
I saw that he posted that he was
16 now.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I saw the article too late to go up and rip off his weed plants.
Does he mean sober from weed too? Because a lot of times that doesn't mean.
No one's so. Everyone who's sober is never sober from weed.
That's what I think.
Oh wow, really? Everything? Well, I do mushrooms and some
mushrooms and weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm completely sober, except I have back pain all the time, and I need to hustle pills.
Those are prescribed.
Well, they're not to me, but in a lot
someone
in some corners, I think I'm making the pain up just so I can get high.
Yeah,
those people are called fuckheads and liars.
These cocksuckers at the VA fucking barely want to give me ibuprofen. We're gonna give you a limited run of ibuprofen. Like,
thanks for your
did to me.
Thanks for your our freedom. Bite a leather strap, motherfucker. It's tough and
get a branch.
Yeah. Glad I have friends.
Yeah. Maybe Trump was right and you guys were all suckers.
Yeah.
I think he was. Yeah.
Well, he said
it's like one of the only things I ever agreed with that guy.
I don't know. I know. I don't know about the loser or the losers part, because that's like, but suckers, He's right on the money there. You can't argue
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
You watched an ad about a Marine who took a sword and he put it in a dragon, and you you joined up. You're a sucker. You're a sucker. The buddy system. Oh yeah, you go fight for freedom. You're a sucker. Yeah.
You know, it was so common that we'd seen Cadence when you would run, and one of them was fucking. They'd all well, not one, but they would always have a verse. Some of them about being given a choice: join the army or go to jail.
Yeah.
Because that was such a common thing in the past.
Yeah.
Jail's
We had
looking
to
better
stop
and better.
Yeah, jail makes for a better song.
And they make you run less.
Yeah. I mean, there hasn't been. I'm sure people have written songs when they're in the military,
Yeah.
but it's all death metal, or whatever. I think Johnny Cash put out a couple of tunes. I don't know, but yeah, that's a fucking. I'm glad I didn't join the troops. I was vulnerable, but I saw a pathway in drunkenness without accountability. You know, sure, I would have to buy my own clothes, but the freedom, that's the freedom, You're fighting for freedom by what? Giving up yours? That's stupid. I'll fight for freedom if it's at a bar and it doesn't cost me anything. I have a pretty good shot, Let me,
You'll fight for freedom if it's at a bar on a Sunday afternoon at 3:00 and there's chicken wings.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'll eat after. I'd rather I have done that. Have you ever done that where you get in a fight too soon after eating? It's like I'm not. It's just I ate some wings and that hurt.
Yeah. I never once considered that I would have to fight for any freedom or anything like that. All I was thinking about was my own freedom. I had no other way to get the fuck out of the town of 5,000 people that I grew up in, and that was the only way I saw to just fucking bounce out, right now. And it worked.
Yeah. It's surprising that like community colleges don't have recruiters because they're competing head to head.
They do all the time. They have a careers day, like twice a semester.
The fact that you didn't know that just means that the community college recruiters looked at you and went, nah.
Keep going.
There's no point. There's no point.
A sword for a dragon here for you.
This guy. Yeah.
It's definitely community college material for sure. Like, I don't think a lot of my teachers spotted my potential because, like in the class ranking, out of 107, I was 100. And that's retarded people are probably thrown in the mix. I
didn't even know we had a class ranking, Andy. I never even knew that was such a thing.
I didn't. I think so. I think a fucking cruel teacher wanted to point it out to me. How I was lucky to be there. There was a situation with a fire alarm and garbage cans being dumped. I get a little excited, and that was like there was a lot of us seniors who were told that we weren't going to march in the graduation if we couldn't conduct ourselves a little bit more disciplined than what had happened on that Friday.
Your Coquille school was like Lord of the Flies with adults.
Yeah.
I mean, you were subjected to a lot of fucking heinous shit.
Oh, I was, I did
shaming you to tell you you're 100 out of 107.
Yeah. Well, and then I was like, cool. My friend Mitch, though, my friend Mitch, and we were like, it's like he was 103. Like, whoa, man, I thought you were a good student. Like, we're both kind of suicidal, so it makes sense that neither of us attended to our studies much.
Was Mitch standing next to you and you heard you were 100? Because then you could have been like 100 in your face.
I mean, it was
103.
Like we were tied. That's what we were tied until that last thing. I broke ahead with some fucking bad luck in algebra. Like, I don't know how that happened. I got a C? Really? No shit. I mean, I couldn't spell ABBA with my grades in middle school. That's for sure. He couldn't.
It just doesn't seem like you were even without the being molested. It doesn't seem like and obviously it all ties together, but it doesn't seem like you're the type of person a kid who would have been good at school type learning where it's a group. Like you can't sit still. I can only imagine what you were like when you were 8 years old. Yeah, you're squishy and you're floor swimming. Like it's impossible for a teacher with 20 to 25 students to teach you anything because she's trying to teach the other people in the class too, and you're just fucking off with the fairies.
It fell apart when I got sexual. It fell apart when I got sexual in middle school, but in like 1st through 5th grade, I got all good marks, and once I got I had weird teachers in odd situations, but once I got to middle school, I got paddled a lot. I got a lot. I mean, they used like terms like unsatisfactory and needs improvement and shit. I was just trying
Then that was it.
Well, I don't know if you could put it. I mean that is when that all went down. But maybe my 5th grade.
I was just trying.
My 5th grade teacher was trying to nail students, so he wasn't too worried about
making out with your girlfriend.
Yeah, he got his dick sucked in the gym, and I got a C in math there. But I was like, that was one of my lower marks in all of grade school. I was like, that hurt a little bit. Because he was teaching my girlfriend to suck his dick. It's like, come on, man, divide your time up better. That's a math term.
Your grade suffered for her lack of performance?
Well, I mean, I never stayed. I didn't, we weren't together after that. So I didn't really reap any benefits. And then I got cheated out of that math. But I did learn how to sing Taking Care of Business. So, there's a trade-off.
BTO?
Yeah. We fucking rocked it on Fridays. Casual Fridays. Mr. Havers brought in his guitar and we sung whatever he assigned us.
This guy, this 5th grade teacher who's a pedophile with a big thick mustache would bring his guitar in on Fridays and you guys would sing BTO songs.
Well, that was one
class?
me and Mike Reeves sang Taking Care of Business. He would assign us a song and then he'd bring his guitar on Friday. Yeah, there was other numbers, but I still remember all the words of that song basically.
So the class now I'm still trying to follow along. So he assigned to the class learning the song to sing it?
I guess.
And you guys would come in and sing it on Fridays?
No, 2 people had to learn it.
Yeah, I think he smoked weed, but he would have, I think we'd get the lyrics to it. And then there was probably a time where we did it on Wednesday, just me and Mike Reeves hang, we were actually, Mike Reeves was my nemesis in them early years. He was the guy I would end up throwing dirt clods back and forth with or whatever. We just, we're just 2 alpha white trash losers. So we clash.
I'm so lost in this conversation right now. I can't figure out who it was that was singing Taking Care of Business in 5th grade during class.
Me and Mike Reeves sang it as a duet.
The teacher played the guitar.
Yeah, he played the guitar. You get up every morning and
but he assigned students to learn songs and then he'd play the guitar part and you guys would sing in front of the rest of the class.
Yeah, and he was 24,
Instead
25 years old.
Yeah.
He had a mustache.
That's insanity to me.
He was pretty cool. He was his first gig out of college, and he had tight pants. And, I mean, I can remember how his corduroys just fit. He had the fucking tightest corduroys, and then he would go out, even with tight corduroys, and he would punt a football 70 feet in the air to land on kids.
Oh my God. He's like an Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
He's out there in his tight pants and he's throwing the football around, but I could throw it over that mountain.
Yeah, he's your
fucking 5th grade teacher?
Yeah, he was a tough dude. Yeah,
your memory is a fucking curse, Andy. I could not tell you what any of my teachers ever wore on any given day at any fucking time. You fucking
this dude, and he ran.
Those corduroys didn't fit.
Well, this is how we are. I'm sure I've told you this. It was the last day of 5th grade, teachers versus students, and I was playing catcher. Okay, make your gay jokes. Maybe I, come up later. But he come around third base and ran me over and concussed me. That was the final fucking thing. From that was he was like, that was my kind of my introduction to fucking dudes, real dudes, and then it got worse. That was kind of
it was all downhill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dudes are
that's
kind of
but that's
aggressive.
insane too. I mean, think about the level of insanity with this fucking guy. I mean, he's running over, he's flattening a student in a baseball game,
Yeah.
a fun game on the last day of school. He's running one down and flattening them.
And
Like
He's
bonus by
that's
basically
girls,
a
and then
giant
he,
fifth
that's
grader trying to
yeah,
pick up
Yeah.
fifth grade girls.
yeah, and then he could
yeah.
probably bone my chick,
Yeah,
flipped
he's
her.
picking up tail. He's
Yeah,
swinging that guitar around and wearing them corduroys.
One
mean,
other
Yeah,
fifth
Scoring
grader
the
played
winning
guitar,
run.
mowed down people on the
Right.
way to fucking home base. I mean,
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
He's
He used to
basically a
lift
student
weights.
in
Shit.
charge of the fucking class.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
real sweet situation for what he was into. Coke heel.
Sure. There shouldn't be anybody teaching who's not like just an first of all, it should only be women. And if you can get them to be on the matronly end of the spectrum, that's even better. It should be like
And if you have a good,
50-year-old and up.
yeah,
Women
and if you
like
have a hot teacher,
getting
make
into
sure,
grandma area.
yeah, you have a hot female teacher, make sure her students are ugly. That's what happens a lot of times. These smoldering, good-looking 16-year-olds, and then they flip these, these milfs that are, it's like
Andy, Erickson, I have to disagree because a shop teacher would never, none of this would ever happen with a guy teaching metal shop or woodworking or auto shop.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
Erickson
about
wants
kids.
to
I'm
have,
talking about elementary school.
Castrated and sent to home ec
There
in his
you
fucking
go.
liberal.
I'm talking about
side.
yeah. I'm not sure that's what liberalism is.
Well, I don't know. I was thrown there. I was I don't know if it was right.
But I mean, maybe I haven't checked that deeply. Maybe there's castration involved at some point. But I'm talking about kids, fifth grade kids. Your fifth grade teacher does not need to be fresh out of college, weirdo 25-year-old guy. Like there's just no situation. Do I want my children to be learning from that person? That's not a good person to teach a child. Like,
but what do you know
that
from
should
fifth
be
grade?
that should be a nice lady.
What do you remember from fifth grade? I get up every morning to the alarm clock, want to take the 8.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's whistle up above and people pushing people. So he was a good teacher. He just didn't teach us anything useful.
Well, then that's why he wasn't a good teacher.
He wasn't taking care of business. Then is what you're saying.
When I was in fifth grade, my brother and I, my twin brother and I, we were both at the same school, and I don't think we never had the same class after like third grade, right? So in fifth grade, I had this ball buster, fucking the meanest guy, like the meanest teacher, and he was older. And my brother had the 25-year-old dude who wore the fucking sandals to school. And I remember we were like, my brother goes, "Oh, we got a field trip coming up." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, field trip? They're going to go see the new Star Wars." And that same weekend, I'm like learning how to do, we all had to take the cursive writing like contest because this teacher insisted everyone cursive everything. So my brother's watching fucking Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and I'm practicing my S's and the F's, right? Same fucking grade. And that teacher was exactly what you just said. 25-year-old fucking hippie motherfucking Roger Prosser was his name.
Wow. See, I grew up in a farm town where we had we had 50 students split into two groups, and you had two teachers, both of them female, all the way up until we were in like junior high.
Yeah.
It just seemed like super chill. It was like Little House on the Prairie, but like that, it's what the teacher looked like. So I don't know. I guess that's,
and you know how
that is just crazy.
You know how that ends.
I do.
Blow up the town.
I do.
Yeah, half a pint. Throw down another charge of dynamite.
But it just is, after putting kids through school and sports and all of that stuff, it's always these weird guys who are like, oh, he's the volleyball coach. No, I don't want some weird guy coaching my daughter's volleyball team.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the dads or one of them or the moms or if it's someone who isn't family of one of the players
or hates kids.
It's gotta be a woman. I don't want to fucking women don't molest children.
If there's an older dude,
Right?
Not usually.
if there's an older man
If they
around,
do, it's usually
takes
all
an
right.
interest- yeah,
That's
you
right.
have a coach who's taking an interest in your kid, and it's like that when you take your baby somewhere and they go, oh, your kid could be a model, and it fucks with you for a minute. And it's like, is your kid and your kid's not that good of an athlete, and the coach is taking a shine to him? It's because the coach wants to fuck him. It's not because your kid has the chance of being a good player, but they fuck with your ego, and you're like, well, maybe he does. Maybe the coach really is spending a lot of extra time with him. So we'll see.
You gotta admire his dedication. That coach really cares about those boys.
Our boy hasn't failed one sawdust check this whole season. He's doing something right over there.
None of our boys are clinching chips.
Clinching chips.
I wonder if there's one bad kid who kept putting wood chips up his ass just to throw off the drill. It's like, oh shit, we better get you to a doctor, son. Wood chip dipped in ketchup sauce just to fucking throw off the curb.
I give the principal a scare.
Yeah, I got to go back to the future. Ketchup pack, boys.
Yeah, I do want to tell everyone, if you don't know this, I did post on Issues with Andy Patreon. I did put up the End of the World Part 1, which is the first 4.5 hours of the other End of the World podcast that we did on election night. So
cool.
And thanks to all you guys for coming out for that and participating. I appreciate it.
Sorry about
so that's available on that's only available on Issues with Andy Patreon and only available on Doug Stanhope Patreon. I pulled it from YouTube. It's not available anywhere. It was just for our Patreon viewers to be participating, and it's only for them to view now after the fact. So
that looks like a Brett Brock art.
Yeah, Brett did that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of like Drew Carey drops in there. How about Drew Carey? I didn't know Doug knew Drew Carey. How did Doug know him?
I don't know.
I think probably Drew saw Doug's fabulous turn in punching Henry.
Is this like
when he played the?
Is this like the Sarah Cooper thing?
The attendant at the impound yard.
Yeah, Doug's doing an end of the world thing, and then Hennigan puts out a call to all celebrities.
No, that was all Doug. Doug did all of that drunk the night before. And the follow-up is Roseanne. We didn't have her phone number or her real email, so the next day she called and wondered why she never got a link.
Mm-hmm.
Once the ambient fog wore off. That's not nice.
She probably thinks she did the podcast.
No, but it's probably going to bode pretty well for us to get her on pretty soon. So,
cool.
Either way.
All right. Well, that was fun, gentlemen. I'm glad we jumped in and did this.
Yeah. Now, when does this due to our Wednesday? Are we fucked?
I don't know. Well, no, we'll do Wednesday. I was thinking that this would be a perfect thing to just throw onto Patreon immediately.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do that.
On Patreon, someone said, I'm guessing you guys are probably going to get something out earlier because of the last time when Trump got COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, we still got some more desert shows to show you too. So, but there was just so much going on with everything that, we kind of did that for a couple of days.
So I forgot why we did
there's a lot of stuff out there
because we thought Trump had when Trump announced he had COVID.
Yeah.
I knew there was something that we jumped on one ahead of schedule that we're all excited about.
And
now look at how that
actual joy.
Yeah, he didn't really even fucking get that sick.
No,
Bum.
no, because the people who like him are were able to convince themselves that just was another example of how strong and powerful he was.
Disgusting.
So I mean,
Yeah,
it's like it's one of those things where no matter what happens, what you think they're gonna think it's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You know, like everything that should take him down just makes him stronger and more like a hero to the people who like him. And you're just like, what the fuck? Just make
ultimate
it
man.
stop.
Well,
Have
I
you
hope
guys
he
seen all the,
normalizes pants shitting.
Right on time.
Did you guys see that there's a Trump supporters are doing a mass exodus from Facebook?
Good.
They're tired of all the lib fact checkers.
Yeah.
Which they just
And
started
in
on
fact,
suppressing their
month ago.
First Amendment. So they're
Wow,
going to
check this out.
a new website called Parler.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I looked it up.
No, look.
Kurt
Yeah,
Schilling's
are you
over
on
there.
Hold
What's-
on. What the
Are you
fuck?
on there?
How come I don't see you?
Brett
Nice.
Bart.
It's that.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was
yeah, I
able to
follow.
get the Brett Bart name, and I
Nice.
just joined Parler today. So maybe Brett Bart will come back. See, that was the only reason. Part of the reason that I stopped doing it was because not enough conservatives were seeing it. You know, it was supposed to be a parody of
it
Brett
was
Bart.
just an
So
inside joke,
it only works if it's people who would know what Breitbart was,
Yeah.
and nobody in my Facebook circle did. So it was like, but maybe I can.
Is Kenneth
jump on.
Copeland Jr. taken yet?
Oh,
I'm
there's
just
a lot
oh,
of way to
shit.
find out.
Oh, it's gonna be full
Yeah.
of trolls.
Parler-
Now I might
oh
have
my
to get
God,
over there
Parler
too.
is the-
Well,
Parler's
it's gonna. But I looked it up and it says, well, this is Wikipedia, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it says Parler has a significant user base of Trump supporters, conservatives, and Saudi nationalists. Which that sounds
Interesting.
weird. Yeah.
But-
Posts on the website often contain far-right content, anti-Semitism, and conspiracy theories. So it
Yeah.
might be fun to go over there
Oh,
and
fuck
check it
yeah.
out.
It's a big QAnon thing. It's partly owned by this guy. I'm not exactly sure how to say his name. Dan Bongino. Bongino. Do you know who that is?
Buongiorno.
Bongino.
Buongiorno.
Shaylee.
Buongiorno.
Hey, Shaylee, type
What?
in Dan Bongino. He's a big right wing podcaster and
And
all around
Wait, B
Bongino.
is in Victor?
B as
Victor
in boy.
Charlie,
Oh, B.
Caucasian.
That's who owns Parler, and he's a big. He's huge on Facebook in conservative circles, and then he's the one he's constantly complaining about being shadow banned, and he ended up starting his own social
Shadow
media
banned.
outlet, which he is going to get fucking super rich from.
Yeah, sure.
So that's
Here he is right
that's
here. I got
Parler.
What's
There you
his name? It says on
Dan
Wikipedia. Oh, that's founded.
I
Founded
think
by John Motzi and Jared Thompson, CEO John Motzi.
Oh man. He looks
well,
like-
But again,
But-
I'm on Wikipedia. I have no idea.
I'm
if
sure
that's
that's true. I'm sure that's true.
Oh
but
no,
this
here
guy,
it is right here. In
Bongino-
2020, Dan Bongino announced that he had purchased an ownership stake in Parler. There it is.
Yeah. And then that was what made he kind of announced he was leaving Facebook. Like he's still one of the biggest pages on Facebook, but he was leaving to go to this new thing, Parler, and that was when it all started happening this year. They all started going over there. Like, well, we can, they won't censor us like Twitter and Facebook does. So that's Parler. So let's all jump on there.
Yeah,
Doing
fuck
it.
yeah.
I got invited via Facebook invitation to join the mass exodus to Parler, where the First Amendment will not be infringed upon, and we can say all the dumb stuff we want.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that guy. Doesn't he look like an asshole?
Hey, that's
I mean,
me.
that is just.
that-
Oh, hey, shit.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, no, he's cool.
oh no, oh, that's your twin brother. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Michael. He was
That's them in 5th grade.
yeah. Mr. Havers just got done. Playing
Shit.
kickball.
Anyway, all right. So what else? Everybody go on Parlor unless.
Well, yeah, go on
Cool.
Parlor, and we're gonna
I'm
get a
not gonna.
vaccine, and we're gonna be out and hugging. We're gonna be able to hug, hug people's grandbabies.
Absolutely.
Go out
We'll
and do
stop
drugs.
the count. We'll stop the steal. We'll stop the count. We'll keep the count going.
Did you see that
Just depends.
in
which
Philadelphia? They were out in front of somewhere, the courthouse, going, "Stop the count, stop the count," and then fast forward or smash cut over to Arizona where they're like, "Count them all, count them all."
Yeah.
It's
It'd be great if
so
they had
ridiculous.
like a protest sign and they're stop the count. Oh, he's losing, and then they just flip the sign around.
That's what
Keep
maybe
count
that-
every vote.
That's what we should be doing is like, because I did that like at my daughter's ice skating things. I could I could get people clapping, or you could get
Sure.
there's certain things you can control a crowd, and
Uh-huh.
chants is one of those. If
Yeah.
chant kind of fizzles out because it didn't get rhythm or people didn't pick up on it, it's like you can just hammer away and get them on it. You can get them to say anything,
Yeah.
in reason or whatever. You can say, bam, 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 and then they'll be like, yeah, it's like, that's so stupid. They're like, well, wait, now why do we, it's like, wouldn't they be at some point like, wait, we want them to stop counting, we want them to count. It's like, he's going to lose if they stop counting, but if they keep counting,
Not
he's
that state.
gonna lose by
Yeah.
more.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was state by state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's depending
I know,
on which state.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's
Because he was gonna end up behind in all those states, but he was still ahead in some of them. So the ones he was still ahead in, he was like, "We're stopping now."
and he couldn't
But the ones
necessarily-
he was already behind in, he's like, but still close. He's like, "Well, we got to keep
Yeah,
counting
we
there because
still
we
have a
might be
chance."
able to."
I love how
Yeah.
they set it up. The people who were afraid of getting COVID virus stayed home and did the mail-in ballots, but they didn't count them till later. So it's like all the, it's just like
It really
okay.
backfired on
Yeah.
every fucking level.
Yeah, it was like
I mean,
a
every
Globetrotter
fucking
game.
level.
It was like a Globetrotter game on Scooby-Doo where they're losing at the half. But you just, yeah, that basket's gonna get pretty fucking big in the second half, yo.
Yeah.
Biden, woo, Biden, 70, 90, 100% Biden. Yeah, because people aren't fucking stupid. They want to vote by mail where it's like fucking
Yeah.
easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here and go
See
do
you
something.
guys, Wednesday,
Thanks,
Shaylee, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, you got the time for that?
Yeah. Stan up
All right.
texted me earlier.
So it's 1:00 we start.
Okay.
Just so you know. So
Okay.
and if you could get here, just make sure you get here a little bit beforehand.
I'll get.
Because I want to be able
before
to
then.
check the mics and stuff because I'm gonna just put on some new equipment.
Right on. I will
That
be
sounds
there.
very exciting.
Oh,
Thank
very
you.
cool.
Oh, we got
thanks
special
to our
guests.
patrons for
We
being
got
out
we
there.
Yeah, it's
got
gonna be a good one.
fireworks happening tomorrow, man.
Really?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Hennigan's
Well,
in town.
this is good. Oh shit! All right, good.
Yeah.
Well, this is good because this,
And a
this is
special
going
guest.
right on, and this is going right on Patreon. So this will be on Patreon in time for you to see this and hear this, and then know that this is coming up on the Doug
Copy.
Stanhope
Right
podcast.
on.
We get
That's
news
working
first.
symbiotically, everyone.
Andy. Yep.
For all your breaking Doug Stanhope news.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a dope
Thanks for
fiend.
being out
Doug
there,
Stanhope
everybody.
eats drugs.
Cheers. See ya.